Alright, today you're going to need this piece of paper right here, the Star Grade 5 Mathematics Reference Materials. So go ahead and find that paper, and then cut that paper. Okay, so you are cutting like the ruler part off, but that's okay. When you need a ruler, you can actually get a real ruler. You don't need this one. Okay. I want you to go ahead and glue this in the front of your math journal, okay, so that you have it ready anytime you need it. So take a minute and glue it. All right, once it's glued, I want you to get some bright bold color. I picked red, and I want you to put a multiplication sign and a division sign on here, okay, because today's lesson is about converting units of measurement. And when you convert them, you will need this piece of paper, and you will need to remember that you are always going to be multiplying or dividing when you convert. Okay? So that's step one. Step two is to turn to the next clean page. All right, so we're making this page, converting units of measurement. Okay? So when you are converting units of measurement, what that means is converting means going from one thing to another, okay, going from one thing to another, okay, without changing the value, okay. So, for example, I think we all feel really good about, like if I said this is a ruler, okay, it's 1 foot, okay, and that equals 12 inches, okay. So if I said, how many inches are here, you would say 12, and if I said how many feet are here, you'd say 1, and those two amounts both represent this ruler, okay. So there will be math problems that ask you, if I have, okay, so, how many inches are there in 12 feet? Okay, all right, so like this is like just an example problem, okay, so for example, okay, so you know that 1 foot equals 12 inches, right? And if you've forgotten, you have this handy-dandy reference material that says right here, 1 foot equals 12 inches. And you've cleverly written multiply or divide. So whatever's about to happen, you're going to be multiplying or dividing. Okay? So 1 foot equals 12 inches, and I have 12 feet. Okay? And I do think it's a little bit tricky of me to put a 12 here. Okay, so you're going to ask yourself, okay, first you're going to ask, so step one, how are the two units related? Okay, and in this case, the units here are inches and feet, okay, and so the answer is what we had up here, okay, 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay, step two is, will your answer be bigger or smaller? And this is very similar to a problem-solving technique. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, oh sorry, let me move this down a little bit. What I'm thinking is, if I'm asking how many inches are in 12 feet, am I expecting there to be a bunch of inches in 12 feet or just a few? Okay, I'm expecting a bunch, right? I'm expecting, in this case, a bigger answer. Okay, well, and I know from what I put on here that I'm going to either multiply or divide. Okay, so if it's bigger, I'm going to multiply, and if I'm expecting something smaller, I will divide. Okay, so step three. Okay, multiply or divide two numbers that aren't ones. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, in this case, I have 12 feet and 1 foot equals 12 inches. So I'm looking for something bigger, so I'm going to do 12 times 12. Okay? 12 times 12. Okay? If you don't remember it, you can just do the math. 2 times 2 is 4. 2. Okay? 144. Okay? So how many inches are there in 12 feet? Okay? The answer is 144 inches. Okay? So that is kind of just your overall process. Let's go ahead and turn the page and do a few more practice problems. Okay? So let's do this is practice or examples of converting measurement. Okay, and we'll just do 4 problems, so we'll make a window. Okay, on my first one, I'm going to do, let's see, let's do, okay, 5 liters equals how many milliliters? Okay, let's do, oh, hold on, give me just a second to think. 64 ounces equals how many pounds? Okay, let's do 4,000 centimeters equals how many meters? And let's do 4 miles equals how many yards? Okay, so those are my 4 examples. Okay, I'm going to start here, liters to milliliters. Okay, step 1, how are the 2 units related? Liters and milliliters. Okay, so you have to check your chart here. Okay, you don't just know this stuff off the top of your head yet. So there it is, liters and milliliters. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. So I'm going to write that down. Okay, 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so if for every liter there's 1,000 milliliters, am I expecting a lot of milliliters here or just a few? Okay, and that's my question of, will my answer be bigger or smaller? Okay, I'm expecting a lot of milliliters because milliliters are small and it takes a lot of them to fill up a liter. So I am expecting to have to multiply. Okay, and then I just look for my 2 numbers that aren't 1. Okay, so in this case, 1,005. Okay, I've decided to multiply. I have 1,000. I have 5. Okay, the answer is 5,000 milliliters. Okay, let's do the next one. 64 ounces equals how many pounds? Okay, again, step 1, how are the 2 units related? Well, come back here to figure that out. Ounces and pounds, ounces and pounds. Okay, it's down here. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Okay, so I'm just going to write that. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Okay, so which one's smaller? Well, ounces are smaller than pounds. Okay, and no, I don't know why LB is the abbreviation for pound. So if I have 64 of these tiny little ounces and I want to know how many pounds, am I expecting the number of pounds to be bigger or smaller than the number of ounces? Well, I'm expecting it to be smaller because a bunch of those ounces just turn into 1 pound. Okay, so I'm expecting something smaller, so I'm going to divide. Okay, and then what numbers am I going to divide? Well, I've got 64 and 16. Okay, So 64 divided by 16. Okay. So I don't know my 16s well, so I'm just going to have to guess. How many do you think are going to go in there? Okay, 3, 4, 5. Let's try 3, because when we do 2-digit division, we just have to kind of do some guessing. Let's see, 3, 4. All right, that wasn't enough, so it's going to be more than 3. So I'm going to try 4 now. 4 times 6, 24, 4, 5, 6. Well, there it is. So 16 goes into 64 4 times. 4 times 16 is 64. So there we go. So my answer is 4 pounds. Okay. Centimeters to meters. What's the relationship? Centimeters to meters. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. 1 meter equals, I already forgot, 100 centimeters. Okay. Centimeters are, it takes a bunch of centimeters to fit into 1 meter, so centimeters are smaller. Okay, so if I have a bunch of centimeters, am I going to have more meters than centimeters or less? Well, I'm going to have less because it's a bunch of these centimeters are going to turn into just 1 meter. Okay, so I'm expecting a number here that's smaller than this. Okay, and if you're like, how does she know? Well, you can also look at this. Okay, which one's smaller, 1 or 100? Well, 1's smaller. So the meter number is going to be smaller than the centimeter number. Okay, so we're going to be dividing. Okay, what am I dividing? Well, I got 4,000 and I got 100 because I'm the two numbers that aren't 1. Okay, so 4,000 divided by 100. 100 won't go into 4 or 40, but it will go into 400 4 times. 4 times 100, 400. 100 goes into 0, 0 times. So my answer is 40 meters. Okay. Last one, miles, which is the same abbreviation as meters, I just realized, but I wanted this to be miles, and yards. Miles, and, oh, you know what? It was supposed to be MI for miles. I know, because I just looked here. See? Miles and yards. So what's the relationship? 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. Okay? Whew. 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. Okay? So, am I expecting this number to be bigger or smaller than this number? Well, again, if you can't just like see it in your head, what's bigger? Yard numbers or mile numbers? Yard numbers are bigger. I'm looking for the yard number. It's going to be bigger, so I'm going to be multiplying. What am I multiplying? Well, everything that's not 1. Okay, so 1,760 times 4. Okay, just to be clear, I could do 4 times 1,760 this way. Okay, but when I have because the order doesn't matter, but this confuses me, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it this way, where the single digit numbers at the bottom. 4 times 0, 4 times 6, 24, 28, 29, 30, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so my answer is 7,040 yards. Okay, and that is how I convert units of measurement. Okay, so make sure you have this page and the example problems and the reference materials.